The truth is hard to swallow, but it needs to be faced head-on. She already knows. She knows you like her. She knows you're waiting for her reply. She knows you care more than you should. And yet, despite knowing all of this, she's not responding. That silence is not an accident, it's not a coincidence, and it's not something you need to decode. It's the answer you've been trying to avoid. If someone genuinely wanted to be in your life, you wouldn't have to chase. You wouldn't be staring at your phone, checking it every few minutes, waiting for that little notification to pop up. You wouldn't be scrolling through old conversations, replaying her last words, looking for hidden meaning in them. If she truly wanted to talk to you, she would. No hesitation, no excuses, no delays. That's how it works when someone values you. You don't sit there guessing, you don't feel uncertain, and you don't feel ignored. What you're feeling right now, the waiting, the hoping, the overthinking, isn't attraction, it's rejection disguised as silence. Deep down you know she saw the message. You know she read it. You know she just didn't care enough to answer. And as much as that cuts, that silence is her answer. You don't need to send another message to force a reply. You don't need to keep coming up with reasons why she hasn't responded yet. You don't need to hold out for closure, because the closure is right there in the emptiness of the conversation. The unanswered message says it all. The lack of effort says it all. The truth is painful, but it's also freeing once you accept it. The sooner you stop fighting it, the sooner you take your power back. Rejection has a way of cutting deeper than almost anything else because it strikes right at your pride, your ego, and your heart. When you don't get the response you were hoping for, it feels like a part of you isn't good enough, like you're being judged and discarded without explanation. That's why so many men keep chasing, because admitting rejection feels unbearable. You want to believe there's another reason, some excuse that makes it easier to accept. You convince yourself maybe she was busy, maybe she forgot, maybe she'll text back tomorrow, maybe she didn't even see it. But the truth is far more simple and far more painful. If she wanted to talk to you, she would have. You wouldn't have to wait. You wouldn't have to wonder. You wouldn't have to create excuses on her behalf. That empty silence is not a question waiting to be solved, it's an answer already delivered. And that's where the pain comes in. Because now you're faced with the reality that she isn't as invested as you are, that she doesn't value the connection in the same way, that her attention and affection are no longer yours. It's a heavy feeling, but it's also the lesson you need. Every man faces this at some point, and the difference between those who grow stronger and those who stay stuck is how they handle it. If you run from the pain, you'll repeat the same mistake again and again, holding on to women who don't want you, waiting for replies that never come. But if you accept the rejection, if you allow yourself to feel the sting of it without hiding, you'll come out sharper, stronger, and wiser. Pain is the teacher you've been avoiding, and it won't leave until you learn. Most men fall into the same trap when they don't get a response. They think one more text will fix everything. They tell themselves if they explain their feelings better, she'll finally understand. If they crack a joke, maybe she'll remember how good things used to be. If they ask a simple question, maybe she'll feel obligated to reply. But none of that actually works. Every text you send when she's ignoring you does the opposite of what you hope for. It doesn't pull her closer, it pushes her further away. Attraction doesn't grow when something is handed to us on a silver platter. It grows from curiosity, mystery, and the sense that we might lose something valuable. And the more you chase, the less valuable you look. Each new message makes it clear you have nothing better to do, that your emotions depend on her attention, that you're willing to accept being ignored as long as there's even a chance she'll throw you a scrap of a reply. That's not strength, that's desperation, and desperation is never attractive. Think about it from her perspective. Why should she put effort into someone who never goes away, who keeps trying no matter how little she gives back? She doesn't feel the need to reply because she knows you'll always be there. She knows you're still waiting. She knows she doesn't have to lift a finger to keep your interest alive. That predictability kills desire. Instead of seeing you as a man of value, she sees you as background noise, always chasing, always hoping, never walking away. Every extra text only reminds her that she's in control and you're not. The only way to change the dynamic is to stop giving her what she expects. When you keep texting her after she's already gone silent, you think you're keeping the connection alive, but in reality you're proving something very different, that you have no control over yourself. Every time you hit send, you're handing her more power. She knows you'll reply no matter how long she ignores you. She knows that even if she gives you nothing, you'll keep giving. That's not attractive, that's not respectable, and it's definitely not what creates desire. It creates pity. And pity is the last thing you ever want a woman to feel for you. Think about what message you're sending with each unanswered text. You're showing her you don't believe you deserve better. You're showing her you'll tolerate being ignored. You're showing her that her attention is worth more than your self-respect. That imbalance is poison to attraction. Nobody wants what's begging to be chosen. People are drawn to what's rare, what's scarce, what feels like it could be lost. But you've made yourself the opposite of that. You've made yourself too available, too predictable, too eager. By doing that, you've shifted all the control into her hands. She gets to decide when and if the interaction happens, while you sit and wait. That's not a man in control of his life, that's someone living in reaction to another person's choices. And the longer you stay in that position, the less respect she'll ever have for you. Even if she does respond eventually, it won't be because she suddenly feels attraction. It will be because she knows you're still there to validate her whenever she wants. That's not a connection, it's a one-sided arrangement. The only way to break that illusion of control is to stop feeding it altogether. If you want to change everything, you have to flip the script. Right now she knows exactly who you are and what you'll do. She knows you'll text, she knows you'll wait, and she knows you'll keep trying. That predictability makes you easy to read, easy to dismiss, and easy to control. The only way to shift the dynamic is to stop being the guy she expects. You can't keep playing the role of the man who lingers in her shadow, hanging around for scraps of attention. You have to disappear. You have to become unreachable. You have to show, not tell, that your life moves forward with or without her. This isn't about playing games or trying to trick her. It's about reclaiming your self-respect. Because the man who respects himself doesn't beg, doesn't chase, and doesn't waste his time convincing someone to see his value. He knows his value is already there, whether she notices it or not. Flipping the script means no more long replies to short answers, no more double texting when she doesn't respond, no more checking her social media to see what she's up to. It means living in a way that proves your world doesn't revolve around her. When you pull back, she will notice the absence. Maybe not immediately, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually the silence will start to stand out more than your words ever did. And that's when she starts to wonder. That's when the balance shifts. But here's the most important part, flipping the script isn't really about her. It's about you. It's about refusing to stay in a position where you're undervalued. It's about walking away from anyone who doesn't make space for you. That shift is the real victory. Attraction doesn't come from being endlessly available, it comes from creating space for curiosity and wonder. When you're always the first to text, always the one waiting, always the one giving, there's no mystery left. She already knows she has your attention, she already knows she can get a response whenever she wants, and because of that, there's no urgency to value you. People don't appreciate what they think they can't lose, and right now she doesn't feel like she could ever lose you. That's why she feels comfortable ignoring you, because your behavior has taught her that you'll always be there no matter how little effort she puts in. Mystery creates value, and value creates desire. When you stop making yourself so predictable, everything shifts. Suddenly, she can't read you as easily. Suddenly, she doesn't know what you're thinking, what you're doing, or if you've moved on. That uncertainty is powerful because it sparks curiosity, and curiosity often grows into attraction. But here's the key, you don't go silent or pull back to manipulate her emotions. You do it because you're reclaiming your time and your focus. You stop chasing because you realize your life is bigger than waiting on someone else's attention. And once you truly embrace that, you don't care if she notices or not. Maybe she'll wonder, maybe she'll reach out, maybe she won't. It doesn't matter, because the goal isn't her approval, it's your growth. The more you invest in yourself, the more you naturally become mysterious, because your time is spent on real things that matter, not on refreshing your phone. That's the shift that creates real attraction, but more importantly, that's the shift that makes you free. Think for a moment about how much of your energy you've wasted on her. How many nights have you stared at your phone, waiting for a reply that never came? How many times have you replayed old conversations in your head, dissecting every word as if you could find some hidden meaning? How often have you thought about what you could have done differently, what you could say now to fix things, what excuse might explain her silence? All of that mental energy, all of that focus, all of that time has been poured into someone who isn't even thinking about you. That's the hardest pill to swallow. You're giving her your most valuable resource, your energy. And she's not giving anything back. But imagine what happens when you redirect that energy into yourself. Imagine if you obsessed over your goals the way you've been obsessing over her. Imagine if you put that time into your fitness, your career, your craft, your friendships, your growth. That's how men transform. That's how they stop being the one waiting by the phone and become the one too busy to notice who isn't texting back. Because here's the truth, you are the prize. Not her, not anyone else. You. Your time, your attention, your focus, those are treasures, and the moment you start treating them like treasures, everything changes. You stop feeling powerless. You stop feeling desperate. You stop feeling stuck. And do you know what happens when you live like that? People notice. Women notice. Nothing is more attractive than a man who is locked into his purpose and refuses to waste himself on people who don't value him. Your energy is your currency, spend it on yourself, and you'll never chase again. The truth is simple, the only way to win in this situation is to walk away. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with quiet certainty that you will not keep lowering yourself for someone who doesn't value you. Too many men think victory means getting her to reply, getting her to come back, convincing her to see their worth. But that's not winning, that's begging. Real winning is refusing to play the game at all. Walking away doesn't mean you didn't care, it doesn't mean you lost, it means you finally decided your self-respect matters more than someone else's attention. Maybe she'll reach out one day, maybe she won't. By then it won't matter, because the point was never about her, it was always about you. You're not here to chase scraps of affection or to sit by a phone waiting for someone who's already moved on. You're here to build a life, to grow, to become the kind of man who doesn't need validation from anyone. And once you embrace that, everything changes. Her silence stops feeling like rejection and starts feeling like freedom. You're no longer tied down by false hope. You're no longer stuck in cycles of overthinking and self-doubt. You're no longer measuring your worth by whether someone texts you back. That is the real victory. That's the point where you've taken your power back and made it impossible for anyone to hold it over you again. Walking away isn't weakness, it's strength. It's discipline. It's the mark of a man who knows his value. And once you accept this truth, you'll never chase again, because you'll finally see what you should have seen from the start. If she wanted you, she would have shown it.